In this practice session, we're going to work on the gate at the crown of the head. But first, let's settle into standing. So just come into alignment with the feet parallel, about hip width apart, letting your arms just rest by your sides, and lengthen up through your back, up through your spine, up through your neck, the back of the head. It's important to give yourself a couple minutes when you start standing to just settle in. So think of this period as just gradually aligning your body with gravity so that as easily as possible, weight, pressure, and eventually energy just drops through your system in the easiest way possible. We'll work on detailed alignments as we go, but now you just want to bring the weight into the centers of the feet as best you can and balance the pressures of the feet between the left and the right, making them as even as possible. So take a minute just feeling the feet on the floor and slowly let everything above the ankles and feet shift, move, and settle so that your connection to the feet and to the ground is as clean and as clear as possible. In this initial phase, you're not systematically moving the mind through the body, and you're trying not to also jump around with your awareness. You need a sort of broader, more diffuse awareness of the whole body. And you'll develop an intuition for how to do this over time as you go, but you're just letting things settle. If you're coming to the practice from a busy day or moving around a lot, it's important to have this time to let the container settle so that when we do go to bringing the awareness through the body in a more formal, systematic way, your mind is already connected to your energy, and your energy is already connected to your body in a more direct way. So all we're doing with this buffer is letting things get a little more still, a little more internal, and a little more connected without putting any effort into trying to make something happen. And if you need to make micro adjustments at the ankle joints, at the knees, nice and soft, at the quad, you want to do that in a way that isn't jerky or abrupt, but sort of, again, you're allowing things to settle. The image that we often use is like if you take a sack of flour and just hold it by the top two corners, hold it out in the air and just shake it side to side, everything inside the bag as you move it side to side will sort of settle at the base of the bag. That lift through the crown of the head and your alignments through your spine and even how you hold the leg joints does an equivalent thing. So letting the weight and pressure not land at any joint of the legs. You might feel it in the muscles a little bit, but let this heaviness, whatever you're feeling inside the body, drop as much as possible, ideally down through the soles of the feet and into the floor. And now, once you've got that connection down to the floor, however you have it, let's start to work on the dissolving process. So bring your mind, bring your awareness up to the crown of the head. As you do this practice, I want you to anchor whatever we try to accomplish in your feeling awareness. So as much as possible, I want you to avoid visualizing, thinking of, the gate should be, right? Any of these things that you do mind first or intellect first, we want to put those to the side. Instead, we want to start to ground our sense of the energy gates and the transformation of the energy from ice to water and water to gas, we want to ground that experience in feeling awareness. So just feel the top of the head. We'll gradually hone in on the gate itself, but start by feeling the entire surface. It's a light contact with the mind, as if somebody were just reaching out to touch the top of your head. It's close to the way you would anticipate that touch. Those same kind of feelers when you know somebody's about to lightly touch the top of your head, that's the same kind of awareness that you want to activate at the top of the head right now. And as your mind begins to land there, you feel the whole surface area, the whole crown of the head. That's where we want to start. It's just like you felt the whole sole of the foot on the floor. We're doing an equivalent thing here with the whole head top. Now, as if you had concentric rings of a bullseye on a target, start to bring your awareness toward the center of the head, towards the crown. The point we want is on a stripe that would connect ear to ear over the top of the head. And if you drew another stripe from your nose up your forehead and back over the top of the head, it's where those stripes would cross. So roughly knowing that, start to feel inward towards the center of the head top. But again, by feel, even if you have those visual markers, try to do it by feel as best you can. And as your awareness pools there and gathers there, the challenge of bringing your mind to a single point is that you don't contract your mind. You don't tense up to try to feel the point. So just as you're working on this, notice in the rest of the body if you've kind of sucked it all in or contracted anywhere to try to improve your concentration. The whole goal of this practice, of the dissolving practice, is to be able to hold your mind somewhere without tension or creating contraction, to move your awareness and to hold your awareness in place. So for most of us, that method of feeling is a little bit paradoxical at first and a little bit contradictory to how we've normally been trained to concentrate on stuff or feel stuff. So as best you can, just noticing the sensations there. Now over time, the next few workouts we'll start to talk about and work on what dissolving is and what that feels like and how you recognize it. But for today, it's just holding the mind there and noticing if, as we've held it for a couple minutes like we've been doing, the quality shifts and what's there. You become more present to it. Notice what happens in that area of the body as you rest the mind there without contracting, tensing, or holding. Good, and so to complete this process, no matter what height we've been working on in the body, we now want to feel down through the rest of the body, all the way through the legs, the feet, and then into the ground. So without big jumps, and as smoothly as possible, this is like water running down through the body now to strengthen the downward flow and release any stagnant chi. Just start feeling into the temples, the forehead, and the back of the head. And feel your eyes, your ears, and sort of each height that we drop down through. It's just contacting that part of the body. Don't worry about creating an energetic flow. Just by bringing your awareness smoothly through each height, you'll start to create more flow. Down through the cheeks, the jaw, and the muscles of the face. And feeling height by height through the neck from the base of the skull. Down through the middle of the neck. And from the middle to the base of the neck and tops of the shoulders. Now feeling down through the chest, the center of the chest, everything at that height, so through the rib cage at that height, between the shoulder blades. And then the rest of the way down through your rib cage, front, back, and sides of the body. In this process of really getting the drainage to go through, you don't have to go into micro spaces and places inside the body. It's just broad strokes, right? We do the fine detail work when we get to each gate that's featured in each workout. But this is just to smooth things out the rest of the way down through you. So down through the belly, everything inside the bowl of the pelvis. And also everything through the wrists, the hands, and the tips of each finger. And as you feel into the legs again, try to find that same heaviness, the weight of the body, the pressure dropping through you, through the thighs. You don't want the weight, the pressure, or tension to land in the knee joints, so we'll talk about creating more space in the knees to allow this to drop through the knees. But continue to feel down from the knees to the ankles. And then letting everything spread through the ankles, through the feet. Letting the soles of the feet open up into the floor as best you can. Good, and then when you feel like you've really got that sense of connection again through the feet, through the floor, the whole body has that sense of dropping without collapsing, you can go ahead and slowly open your eyes, either moving on to cloud hands and the rest of the energy gates set, if that's something you practice, or just quietly transitioning back into the world. Good job.